Have you ever wondered what therapy is like or what your loved ones talk about when they are with their therapist? Well, now you can be a fly on the wall in a real therapy session, an unnoticed observer. During this episode, you'll hear a real group therapy session with a modern twist. Our group therapy sessions are done as a mock podcast where participants are encouraged to have open dialogue about their mental health and addiction challenges. As an observer of this episode, we hope that you will learn something helpful for those among us whose struggles often go unnoticed. All personally identifiable information has been removed for the privacy of the participants. Thank you for listening.
We got somebody new here today, and you're going by Jay, right?
Yep.
Where are you from, Jay?
I'm from North Carolina, but I currently live in Ohio.
Cool. Well, we're going to interview you now. Everybody
Cool.
here. We're going to get your full story. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Let's go around again and say everybody's name. My name is Sharkman on the show.
I'm Jonah.
Zen.
Taylor.
Jay.
All right, cool. So let's start. You said you're from North Carolina originally. When did you move to Ohio?
I moved to Ohio 2 years. March will make 2 years.
Okay. How was that for you?
I love Ohio.
Yeah? Were you happy to leave? Because it's warmer in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, it is. At first, no, I wasn't happy, but then I started making friends, and yeah, now I love it.
I already have a ton of questions, but I want you guys to become great interviewers. So, what do you got?
So what are you here for?
I'm here for drugs and depression.
Great interviewing, guys.
Yeah,
You guys are great.
You're asking nothing. Come on.
What's your when did
Cocaine.
I don't even know what I was gonna ask, but okay.
I thought you were going to ask my drug of choice.
I was, but I was thinking maybe that's not the best idea to
I was
ask.
gonna say what's your favorite color? And you're
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
Okay.
Cocaine's my favorite color.
How old were you when you first used?
I was 12.
How old are you now?
17.
I got the math on that, people. It's 5 years.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking in my head. I was like, wait, how many years is that?
So, what made your family move from beautiful North Carolina to Ohio?
My dad got a job promotion, and in order for him to get the promotion, we had to move.
And that was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
And his contract ends in March.
So what does he do?
He is a supervisor at a plant.
What does your mom do?
My mom works with kids who have been kicked out of their foster homes. And
Oh, wow.
her other job, she works at a nursing home.
Wow, so she's like a real caretaker type,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like. Are you close with her?
No.
No, so that's interesting. I feel like
Do you feel like she takes care of you?
She works literally works 7 days a week, 24 hours, because she spends the night sometimes. So I don't really get to see her that often. And my dad, he goes into work at when I go to school, and he doesn't get home until sometimes 8 or 9 at night. So I don't really get to see him either, and I'm not really home a lot. So my relationship with my parents is kind of I tell them what I'm gonna do, and I do it. Yeah.
And they're just fine with that?
They're just okay, or they're just no, you're not, and I still do it.
Did you do that with drugs, or didn't even bring it up?
What do you mean?
Were you hey, I'm just gonna go do some cocaine now?
Oh God, no. I would only tell them when I was going to smoke.
Weed?
Weed, yeah.
So,
Not crack.
and they were okay with that?
No. Well, I mean, there was nothing. I told them there was nothing they could do about it, and they were okay with the weeds. They weren't okay with it as long as I didn't put it in my car or bring it to the house or come home high.
So your parents were like, look, we can't do anything about it because she told us we can't. So that's that. She smokes weed.
Yep.
All right. So it really sounds to me like your upbringing, like you raised yourself a lot.
Yeah, I did. I'm a middle child, and like my whole life, it's been pretty chaotic, to be honest. And I just had to grow up at a young age.
Talk about this chaos. I want to know, like, what was
well, my
chaotic?
grandma was like a heroin addict, so like there was always drugs inside and outside of the house, and like there was multiple times where I found her overdosed. And it was just like cops all the time, EMT all the time.
I'm gonna move this table so I can.
Yeah,
actually
she
see
actually
it.
died of hepatitis C.
Wow, man,
From
I'm sorry to hear that.
sharing needle.
Yes.
Damn.
Hepatitis C is like, you don't want to get that confused with vitamin C.
Who would get that confused?
Hey doc, I think that I'm lacking hepatitis C.
You're gonna go into the pharmacist and get a thing of Hep C pills, and you're like, oh, these are what I'm deficient in. It's not smart. Yeah, why didn't they just come up with different names for these hepatitis? Why did they like make them like A, B,
Hepatitis
C?
A, hepatitis B, yeah.
Yeah. Seems like they got lazy when it came to naming hepatitis.
Hepatitis.
Well, and vitamins, because, well, I guess
Vitamin
that doesn't
B,
matter.
vitamin D, vitamin.
A, C,
I feel like the
K,
same
E,
person who
G.
named the batteries named the vitamins.
I know. A.
Vitamin
Double A.
double A.
What's next? What's next?
Triple A. Is there a triple A?
It's like,
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
bra sizes, vitamins, and
Yes.
batteries. They're just like, let's just use the first few letters of the alphabet, and that ought to do it.
Batteries, it's just like, let's only use the first letter of the alphabet.
No, there's B's. There are no B's, but there are C's.
C's, yeah.
And there are D's. I know there's no B's because you guys know the comedian Dimitri Martin?
Oh, yeah.
He had a really funny joke about why there's no B batteries. It's because it would sound like you have a stutter. Do you have any B batteries?
Batteries. Oh, I listened to a tape from when I was younger because I used to have a really bad stutter and I was in speech therapy for a really long time. And I was trying to say bucket on the audio tape, and I was like, and this is my bucket. And then I and then I did it like 3 times. I was like, yeah, this is my bucket. It was really adorable though.
It was. I heard it.
Cool. All right, let's get back to this story.
What is your favorite color?
Purple.
Come on, like you are like not digging very deep here. You guys have to have questions.
She's
Ask
been
me
here
serious
for a
questions.
while, so it's
Like when
okay.
you're interviewing someone,
Let's go deep.
try and get to like what makes them tick. You know, like try and understand her. Like
Okay.
try and get the full story.
So, do you feel like maybe with your mom, she spends all day caring for people, caring for other people and other teenagers and then old people? Do you feel like when she gets home, she just doesn't want to care about anyone?
When she gets home, she just drinks.
Yeah.
I know I don't do drugs, but why cocaine? Because that feels like a
Um,
drug to get a hold of.
Actually, it's not.
It's quite easy.
But I do others. I will do anything that gets me high, to be honest. But cocaine would have to be my favorite because, I don't know, it's like a party drug, and I do a lot of partying, and I don't know, it makes me feel really energetic. So
So are the drugs for numbing or partying, like just to like an upper?
they're for everything. I mean, I do Xans and boost bars and Ambien, and I do downers too.
I think less people would do Xans if it didn't sound like fun to say.
I know, right?
Zanny
I don't really
man.
do Xans. I do more fentanyl than I do Xans.
They should name things that are healthy for you cooler names.
Like Xanax. What if
Like
Xanax?
Xanax was a
broccoli?
carrot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Rockies.
I'm gonna go
Xans.
pop a Xan right now.
I'm gonna go pop
People
a carrot.
would do it, right? Like,
Dude, this is a nice Xan.
wow.
Look at this thick Xan.
And it's and
It's
it's
a
like
nice cut of
just a
Zans.
big healthy bowl
Of Zans.
of like greens.
Big healthy bowl of green Zans. Hulks.
Right? That's like, I think most of the appeal
Make
of
sure you
that
eat
drug
Zans.
is the way it sounds fun. to
Improve
say.
your eyesight.
I would
with
have
more
to say my
Zans.
favorite downer is morphine
Why do you have to say it?
because I just thought that had to be out there.
Who's pressuring you?
I remember last time I was here, there was a client at the other house, and he was there because he did hydromorphine. I don't know if you remember.
That's
who I'm
great.
talking
Yeah, I've
about.
done that. Mm-hmm.
And
Is that
he,
just morphine with water?
That's what I was thinking.
No. It's like hydrocodone with morphine.
That's for like when you're dehydrated.
Yeah, it's a little white
and
pill that
like
says
you-
270.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about your drug use? Are you like ready to get past it? Like,
Yeah,
what do you-
I'm
what-
ready. Well, actually, when I get out, I'm gonna stick to psychedelics and marijuana. But
Sounds like a plan.
yeah, you wait. No, I can't say.
Well, why
that.
even like do that? Like for me, I'll just tell you, like one of my addictions, this will come as shocking as to all of you, was food. And I know, right? Him? But I switched to like a vegan whole food diet.
How's that going?
It's going great. But I
What do you
lost-
mean? Like, so you can't eat like any dairy products?
I don't. It's not I can't. It's not I just don't because it's part of the. So like, I'm just doing it's no meat, no dairy, no sugar, no oil, no flour. So, I lost 19 pounds
That's amazing.
in like a month so far.
Wow,
And-
I've lost 30 this past month.
Well, you beat me. But I feel great. I've been like going on hikes. I feel really good, and I feel really sober. Like I feel like really good. Like
That's good.
I've had other addictions, but like now I feel like I'm conquering this one. I feel like it's like the last card to fall. And what I find, and it may not be true for everyone, but I think it's true, is like if you go all the way, it's so much easier than if you go halfway. Because if you're like, I'm gonna like go halfway, like I've done that with food. I'm like, I'm gonna do all this except I'm still gonna have sugar or like whatever it is. Because there's, to me, that reacts as a drug in my head. But like when I'm like, I'll just do part of it. It's like you still have that taste for it in your blood. You know, you're just like, oh man, like I'm still getting buzzed. I still need, now I want more. But if you just completely cut everything, it's actually 10 times easier than cutting 90% of stuff and still doing 10%. Because now
Wake up, Jonah.
you don't have that challenge anymore.
Wait.
Why are you so out of it tonight?
I'm just dead inside.
Irritable.
Well, wake up, be alive inside.
I'm alive inside.
But
Wow, that
I
worked
agree with
fast.
you 100%.
Yeah. So like even when you're like, I'll just do psychedelics.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel like once I get out of here, even if I just smoke weed, like it's gonna end up, somewhere else. Cause my tolerance for weed is through the roof.
Right. Like I would even cut it. I would even cut it because it's just like anything that's gonna give you that any kind of high. Cut it because like once you're like totally clean of that stuff. I did the same thing with Instagram. Like, I think I told you about it, right? Like, I deleted my Instagram because I was just like, I'm on Instagram. I'm a married guy, and like, I just don't want to see like I would be on there and like I know all these girls and they'd be like posting pictures. I'd be like, I didn't feel right. Like, I'm not gonna do anything. I was just like, why am I even looking at other women? Like, I want to just not have this. So I deleted it. Like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm just a big hoe.
But to me, it was just like, it's like, I just need to separate myself from whatever is a bad distraction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, even Instagram, it was harmless. It was like, nothing bad was happening from it. But I was just like, what do I need this for? It's just, I go all or nothing, And I just think, I know some people might say that's not healthy, and they might be right. I'm just telling you my personal thing, what works. And I think it's good because you like eliminate anything from anything that doesn't feel right. anything that just you're like, I don't know, don't feel right about this. You cut it, you feel better. It's just that simple. Like you hang on to a little part of it, it's still lingering. It's like a virus. Like it's still there. Like addiction is like a virus.
A disease.
Yeah, but what kind of disease? It's like a virus. If you wipe that virus out completely, and then you don't like go near anything that exposes you to the virus, you have a much better chance of not reawakening the virus. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. Back to the interviews. So why do you? So you said the answer was for
Everything.
for everything.
Yeah. I do drugs by myself. Like, I do downers by myself. I don't really smoke with a lot of people, except for just people that's in my close circle.
Would it be accurate to say that you feel lonely in your family life?
Yeah, it would be pretty accurate to say that. I don't really have a big support system.
Now I wish I'd said
which
it.
is why I relapsed every time I got out of rehab.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, how long? How many rehabs have you been to so far?
This is my 4th.
So if you had to say, if you were analyzing yourself as like a therapist, and you were looking at yourself as a client, and you like graphing like the situation, like what would you say has been like the biggest challenge for you, the patient, when it comes to relapse?
I would have to say, one would be like not having a good support system, and like, because when I did get out, like, my mom didn't make me go to like therapy. She didn't make me go to meetings. So it was like kind of me doing it on my own. And also like falling back into the same crowd of people and like going back around my triggers, and not having enough coping skills is why I relapsed.
Beachside Teen Treatment Center is a tranquil rehabilitation haven for adolescents struggling with addiction, substance abuse, and co-occurring mental health disorders. Our beautiful residential facility is based in Malibu, California, with panoramic views of the Pacific Ocean. Embodying the key principles of mind-body health, our individualized and diverse treatment plans provide wholesome living in a mostly unplugged and small group environment. We aim to cater to each client's physical, emotional, mental, psychological, and nutritional needs. Beachside Teen Treatment Center provides the ultimate balance of a state-of-the-art facility with professional staff and health programs. Healing is accelerated when all states of being are nurtured. At Beachside Teen Treatment Center, we make it a priority to ensure that your loved one receives the highest standard of professional care in a safe, home-like environment. We accept most major insurances, including United Healthcare, Cigna, and Aetna. For more information about Beachside Teen Treatment Center, call 888-620-3896 today.
Yeah, I think the first thing you said was like the most poignant. Like, you didn't have any support. Like, you're just doing it all on your own. And that was with all 3 rehabs?
Yeah, well, my mom took me out. So I went to my first rehab, and then when I got out, it was my cousin's birthday, and she had never smoked, and she wanted to, so I was like, forget this, like, let's do it. And then I ended up going to school with a bottle of vodka, and me and my friend drunk it on the bus. So when we got to school, we were both really drunk, and I ended up getting caught. And my mom found out, and then she sent me to my second rehab. And then she pulled me out of there after about a month and a half. And I wasn't ready to be home, so I made her, like, send me to another rehab. So, and then when I got out of there, I don't know. I just know I relapsed.
Yeah, I think the biggest secret to, like, beating addiction is like you got to know that it's honestly like up to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like there's no rehab that can fix you. Like, they can help you. This rehab is excellent. Like, it's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
help
definitely
you.
up to yourself.
Yeah, but like,
And if you want the help or not.
but even like building a support system outside, you now see, like, unfortunately, like, your mom, who's a great caretaker for others, like, it sounds to me, has not been a great caretaker for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, now it's up to you to be your own caretaker when you get out this time and be like, okay, make a plan for yourself while you're here. Be like, this is what I need to set up when I leave.
Yeah.
I need meetings. I need a sponsor. I need, whatever you need. You'll decide, like, what would be like my dream team to like stay sober.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with my mom, because like her mom, which is the one that died with hepatitis C, I feel like she doesn't know how to be a mom because she wasn't raised like, she was like raised like with around a bunch of people. Her mom was like a prostitute, so like, it was just a bunch of men in and out of the house, drugs in and out of the house. Like, she just doesn't know how to be a mom. I mean, she tries, but not like enough, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you.
And like also like,
That's crazy that her mom was like a prostitute. I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah.
Also, like, what?
with her drinking and stuff, and like she takes medication for bipolar and depression, and that doesn't help either.
Yeah, I think it's like, you see it generationally. Like, I was joking about the glue, but like, you do see even like your grandma was like damaged probably by her mom, who was probably damaged by her mom.
Yeah.
Passed down to your mom, passed down to you. So it's like a chain of abuse that you're like, you got to break it. You got to break it. You got to, what you do is like, you break out of your family's pattern.
Yeah.
And it like makes you a hero for generations like to come. You're the one who changed the way it went. Like, you're the revolutionary in your family tree,
Yeah.
And same thing for Taylor. Like, your dad went to jail. Like, what was his dad like?
I don't know. He's dead, so.
See, dead, totally distant, and like, no, I'm kidding. He wasn't there for him. Like, but did you know anything about your grandfather, Taylor?
Not on his side, at least. Yeah.
Do you have a stepdad?
I do have a stepdad.
Do you like your stepdad?
Not really. He's kind of a jerk.
Would you kill him?
I don't know if I thought about it. I mean, I know I like think about these things, but like when I'm asked, it's I guess it's a little different than like just thinking about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Taylor.
I think one of the best things for you will just be about catching yourself in a thought and then changing thought. But it's actually true for all of us, because we all need to just like, we catch ourselves thinking in a destructive way for ourselves, and then like, you catch it, you change it. Like, any one of us, including myself, like, if we go down the road we were on, it leads to like really awful things for us, and even like, it sounds like your dad never intended to kill anybody. He was just drinking and driving.
Yeah, I mean,
but
yeah,
but like, he wound up killing people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you think you're only hurting yourself. Sometimes you're hurting other people.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking of hurting other people. You may only be hurting yourself, you know?
Yeah.
It's really like, when you think about it, it's just about like getting the imagine if this was like an action movie and you guys all found out somebody planted a bomb in your brain, and it's like, like your job to get in there and dismantle this bomb before it goes off. That's literally
it would just blow up.
It's what you're dealing with. Like, that's addiction. That's where your thoughts are, homicidal thoughts. It's the same thing. It's literally like there's like this thing in your brains that you literally need to get in there and, diswire it before it explodes and ruins your life or, kills you.
Yeah. So, Taylor.
Yeah.
Are you the only one in your family that has these thoughts?
I mean, I know of like these thoughts specifically, but I found out, which was interesting, from my grandpa on my mom's side, that he also has trouble with feelings, and then because he is married and I think he's only married once, but he does talk about like how sometimes he has trouble like feeling love and stuff, and like he's never really truly loved anyone, like none of his children. So I thought that was interesting. So I don't know.
That is interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like some real good intel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing is, like, even if he like put in the work like you are, he could change that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like we're a lot more sophisticated than people will tell us we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of us are. Like, I actually was with my dog, like, went out for a walk, and he, he knows me so well. Like, I let him off the leash, and he's, like, running up ahead, but then, like, he's like, oh, I better check and make sure that, that I'm still there. So he just stops, and he, like, looks back, and he's, like, looking at me. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And he's like, all right, thanks, and he just, like, keeps running. But I'm just like, wow, like, he's a dog, and he's literally, like, doing what, like, a dog loves to do the best, which is, like, run in the woods and just, like, have a great time. So, like, if there was a cocaine for dogs, it's a walk in the woods off the leash, right? Like, that is, like, their greatest drug, right? But in the middle of, like, this, like, super excitement where he's like, I'm off the leash, I'm in a forest, there's a million smells, I can pee on everything, right? He's like, oh crap, I better look back and check, you know? Like, that is a thought in his dog brain. I was like, that blew my mind. I'm like, it's pretty impressive that, like, in the middle of him, like, because I know, like, when you're on such a high, like he was on, like, running around, like, how often can you just stop and make a rational thought? And, like, and even he was able to do that, and he's like a little dog. And I'm like, if he could do that, think about how much control we have of our own minds that we don't even give ourselves credit for. Like, because he's not only just doing it, he's doing it in, like, the most stimulating, exciting time for him. So, like, we are a lot more sophisticated than even society tells us we are. Like, we have the ability to reprogram our own brains. And there are so many people that will echo chamber the idea that you can't do it, that sometimes our own self-defeatism will sort of, like, believe that because it's convenient to believe it and it's easier to believe it and be like, yeah, I can't, you know, I'm just an addict. I don't even honestly like when people say I'm an addict. I know it's important in rehab and I get it. And it's like, yes, say it in rehab, I'm an addict. It's good to admit that you're an addict so you can deal with it. I'm talking about, like, later on. Once you've, like, addressed it and you've worked through it, you're still labeling yourself an addict at a certain point when you're not addicted and you're not on substance, right? So, like, why not rebrand? Why not relabel yourself? If it was a company, like, that, like, was going, you know, that like, got caught doing, like, Nike, right? Like, got, like, okay, Nike's a bad example because they're too powerful. But
Skechers.
Okay, fine. Skechers, right? Let's say Skechers got, like, exposed on CNN for, like, slave labor, right? And everyone's like, Skechers is way too sketchy now. So nobody wanted Skechers anymore. But like, the company still has so much money to make sneakers. Well, number one thing they could do, well, they could either try and, like, launch a campaign, a PR campaign, like, we're not that sketchy anymore, or they could even change their names, like, we're now, like, just S squared or something, and everyone would be like, oh, that's fine, S squared, I like that, or whatever, you know. That's
S squared.
Companies do.
Sounds
that
like
stuff,
a math problem,
right? Yeah, like.
Okay, you know what?
Like, but, like, why can't we rebrand ourselves? You know, like, why do we have to live in the negative reputation that we've either built for others or built for in our own minds? Like, you know, like, how many times you've thought negatively about yourself, and you're like, I'm a bad person, I'm this, I'm that, I don't have any control, blah blah. I don't have self-discipline, which I always hated that term because it's got the word discipline in it, which immediately makes me feel like, leave me alone, whatever. I'm not gonna say it, but like self-discipline. Like, I'm not in the army, okay, dude. But you start thinking these negative patterns. Like, why not rebrand yourself as somebody who can do it all? Who's like I'm capable of doing anything. I really believe that about myself. Like, I can do it all. Like, and nobody's gonna hold me back. And I didn't always think that way. Like, I really, and there are still days when I relapse on thought. Like, people don't realize thought, you could relapse without relapsing. You could just relapse in your thinking, and that will lead to a relapse in your actions. Mm-hmm. But like your thoughts, it all starts with your thoughts. So like, you gotta like try and like make sure you don't relapse in thought. Like, depression is like the beginning of a relapse, in my opinion. Like, depression weakens you, and it's weakened me, and I've like suffered with depression in like serious ways, and treated it and beat it. I honestly beat depression, and people like are shocked. They're like, you can't beat depression. I'm like, I did. They're like, well, it'll come back. I'm like, well, it hasn't yet, because I'm not letting it, So like, yeah, if I let it come back, I sometimes feel it knocking at the door, and it's like, let me in. I'm depression. We know how to do this, man. Let's do it. Come on, hang with me. And it's like, no, get the hell away. That's how you beat it. You just ward it off, Anyway, we only have a few minutes left, and there's so much more to talk about with all of you guys.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Taylor.
Go for it. Go.
Do you think being here will help you?
I mean, I hope it does. I know I have a lot of work that I have to do for myself. But I think that this can give me a lot of skills and techniques I can use to do that. So, I'm happy to be here.
Are you scared that once you start caring that people are going to think that you're like just faking it?
I'm not sure. It might be different because I've always had this attitude, I guess, that I just don't really care. Yeah. So it might be a little weird when I start caring and everyone's like, oh, why, what?
Yeah.
So.
First of all, it'll just show growth. I don't think it'll be weird. I like what you're saying, honestly. What you're saying is great. And I'm not here to judge what you say, but I do like it, Mm-hmm. You're open to it and you're ready for it. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I just want to tell you one thing. Like, have you guys ever smiled when you're not happy?
Of course.
Yeah.
You know what it does, right?
What?
Triggers dopamine release in your brain. Makes you happier.
Dopamine.
So, like, that's a natural...
So does having sex.
Right. And smiling, too. When you smile, try it right now. Everybody just smile. Everyone just smile and hold it for a full 10 seconds. I guarantee you there's no way... You're barely smiling. You have to really commit to it. There's no way you won't be happier after you do that, because you're tricking your own brain. It's like you don't really want to smile. Yeah, as soon as I finish this point, I'm going to let you close it out. Okay. You don't really want to smile, but you're doing it, so your brain gets like this signal. It's like, oh, we're happy now. The mouth is smiling. And it's like, no, I just tricked you, brain. But now you are actually happy, so the brain is like, no, I just tricked you back. You're now happy, right? Like, literally, when you smile, there's no way you don't feel happy. And the same thing is true with, like...
Jonah doesn't look happy.
With your feelings.
That's because he didn't smile for the whole 10 seconds. He didn't smile. He barely did it. It's okay.
Busted. But, like, literally with your actions, it works the exact same way. If you start pretending to feel, you will all of a sudden start to feel. I can't put an amount of time on it, like 10 seconds. It might be more like a week of doing it, but like...
Or a year.
No, I think in like a week. If you literally pretended to care for a week, but like really committed to it, within like by week number 2, you'd find, oh my God, I'm actually caring now for real. And it really works. You can trick your brain. And now please take us home with the story.
Okay, so... It's about the dopamine. I read it in a book one time about monkeys. They
I just love that you read a book about monkeys right away.
It's kind of a sad story though. So they hooked this monkey up to this monitor thingy that released dopamine, and like they hooked it up to his penis, so it was like he was having an orgasm. And the monkey just kept pressing the button, and he killed himself with too much dopamine.
Yeah, that's a little loser.
He had too many orgasms.
But you know he died happy. I'm just kidding. That's terrible. You know the other monkey who was like, why did I get hooked up to the machine where I get shocked? Like, that monkey died too. But he's like, man, I have the worst luck. How did the other guy, what? You got hooked up to what? They're like in monkey heaven. He's like, man. Anyway. But, you know, the obvious lesson there is just like, literally, like, you know, freedom is restraint. Like, that's the obvious lesson of that story that you told. It's like, you know, you think like by limiting yourself, like you're gonna have less freedom, but literally you have way more freedom. Yeah. It's like with your thoughts. It's like with your drug use. It's like if you're like, oh, if I limit myself, if I put controls on myself, I don't want to be controlled. I want to be free. But the tricky, crazy thing about freedom is that it actually works the exact opposite way. Like, you feel way more free. Like, I feel way more free eating a whole food vegan diet than when I was eating everything. Like, you know, I have limited what I eat strictly, and I have way more freedom. And I have more freedom mentally and physically. Like, I can go for hikes and stuff now. I couldn't have done that because I didn't feel good. Now I feel good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I hope you guys all feel good this week. And if you ever feel down, smile for 10 seconds. You can do it. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
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 Thanks for listening to Unnoticed Observer, your window into group therapy. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please leave a rating and review. For all the latest updates and info, follow us on Facebook at Unnoticed Observer Podcast. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.